Teaching. Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Chrissy O'Malley.
And I'm Josephine.
And this is Better Science Teaching. So what are we doing today, Josie?
Today we'll actually be doing a detective badge. Today I actually did an online group chat thing where I did my detective badge.
Very cool. And so why do we need to make a record of it today?
Well, we need to make a record of it because some members of my troop weren't there and probably many other people. So if they wanted to do this badge, well, then we're here to help.
Yeah, so this is going to be available anytime, so people can do it whenever they have time and not just when it was happening online. All right, so today we're going to learn some detective skills and some things about solving mysteries and puzzles.
I love mysteries and puzzles.
I know you do. Okay, so our first step is practicing the power of observation. So we're going to test your observation skills, and hopefully at the end of this, you'll think a little bit more closely about how to make sure that you're taking in all the details of the things around you. So what have you set up for us to do, Josie?
Well, what I've set up for us to do is, it's sort of like a find the difference game. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you this tray filled with 20 different items. Then we are going to remove a few items, and then we want you to try to see which items we removed and possibly where they were.
Yep. And what should we remind Girl Scouts out there who are doing this activity with us? Okay, we'll try it again. All right, I think that it's really important that Girl Scouts be honest and fair for this, because you could cheat. You could cheat. Girl Scouts don't cheat, right? No. And so don't worry about writing stuff down. You don't need to keep track of anything. Don't take a screen capture with just, this is just a game, guys. We're just trying to practice observing things. And so, just make sure that you're honest and fair about what you've observed and what you think is really missing. All right, so here it comes. Okay, how'd you do? Can you remember all the 20 things? It's a lot of things. Okay, so Josie's gonna take a couple away. All right, take a couple away, Josie, but don't let him see on the camera which ones you're taking.
Okay.
All right, Josie, which items did you take away?
I took away the white feather.
Ooh.
I took away the bottle cap.
That's okay. All right. And?
And this little marble.
Ooh. You guys call this character rocks at school, don't you?
Yeah, we call these character rocks.
Were those the only 3 things you took away?
Yep.
Very good. How did you do? That's great. You did a super job. Are you ready for step number 2?
Well, let's try it.
Let's roll. All right, the next one is code breaker. So in the meeting that we did today, we practiced breaking codes, right? So what you're going to see next is a code and the key to a code, how to solve it. And so we're going to give you, we're just going to put it up on the screen, and you can pause the video for as long as you'd like to complete that step. Great job, everybody. All right, so that's step number 2. Next, fingerprint for fun. Are you ready to fingerprint for fun, Josie? Yes. Okay, very good. So we've got ink and paper, and we're going to show some cool things. So one thing to know is that with fingerprints, get the paper too. One thing with fingerprints is that everybody has different fingerprints. That's why we can use them to identify people, and why you may have been adults. You may have been fingerprinted if you've worked in a place that's a secure facility. I get fingerprinted every couple of years as a teacher, so that's the state fingerprints their teachers. We make sure that everybody gets a background check every couple of years to make sure our school stays safe for kids, which is really important. So what we're going to do is show you how to fingerprint. You can do it with paper. And what did you bring, Josie?
I actually brought an ink pad.
Yeah, where'd you get that ink pad?
This ink pad, actually last year when I was a brownie, we did the letterboxing badge. So I used this so that people could do a stamp, and we had different fruits. So each fruit would stand for a different thing. Like if you just found it while you were walking, then you would use a certain fruit. So that's what we use this for.
Yes,
but now we can use it to help more Girl Scouts. So
there's a couple of different ways you can investigate your own fingerprints. One is you can use one of these pads. And so I'm going to tilt this down so you guys can see this a little bit. Okay, so I've got a pad of paper here. I've got this ink pen or this ink pad. And so what I can do is take my finger and I'm going to just very carefully kind of roll it across here. You don't want to push too much because you'll get a ton of ink. So see how there's just a little bit on there. And then I can roll my finger onto the paper and I get a print. That's kind of a square print, right? It doesn't look
fingerprinty.
That looks fingerprintier. So that's one way you can do it. An ink pad is a really handy way to do it. But this is kind of like a specialty craft tool. Like I'm crafty. I don't have tons of these around the house. Another thing that you can do is take a marker. So these are some of Josie's markers. And if I take this, it is a fancy marker. And I don't know, I'll do my thumb. And I'm gonna just, and this is a washable marker. So yes, Josie tells me it's water-based. And so if I get some ink on my thumb and it's kind of wet, then I can make a thumbprint with that. Some markers work better than others. These are kind of fine tipped, so it's kind of hard to keep them wet. Ta-da! How's it look?
It looks good.
Looks okay. All right, so, and Josie and I were trying to come up with things to be crafty because once you take a look at these, you know, and you decide if your fingerprints are loops. What were the other kinds, Josie?
Arches. Or whorls.
Whorls.
So the loops are kind of like this. Here, I'm going to take a pencil.
No, that's not what we're doing.
We're not.
Okay, so you could have arches, loops, or whorls. So take a look at those and see what you can identify in your own fingerprints. I'm not going to zoom in too much because they're my fingerprints. All right, but we were going to show you what we discovered we could do with these to have fun with our fingerprints later. All right, so you're not going to...
So one thing that you can do with fingerprints, like if you're just bored or you just want to do something fun or draw, I guess. One thing that you can do is you can actually, well, since Easter's coming up, April 12th this year, you can make these into little Easter eggs or even little bunny rabbits. So I'm going to make both of those here. This one's going to be a little bunny rabbit. Cute little bunny rabbit. I like bunny rabbits. Today is actually the first time that I saw a bunny rabbit outside in a while. So, yay, we get to see the bunnies again. It's gonna be holding a cute little carrot here. Do you guys like carrots? I like carrots. So here's the little bunny. You can also make little creative designs for Easter eggs if you wanted to. Like, I remember when I was younger, we used to have little coloring sheets for Easter eggs. And then, like, we would just fill them in, and they had all these beautiful designs. They were so fun. Easter egg and bunny rabbit. Ta-da!
Great job. Don't you guys just love this little bunny? Look at how cute he is. So cute. Okay. All right. So, so that's some things you can do with fingerprints. It's kind of cool. Next we're going to talk a little bit about detective science. And science is my jam. All right. So the thing that we wanted to talk about is that you've probably heard about DNA before. You have some of my DNA, and that's kind of why we look similar. A little. But DNA is the information that you have inside every cell in your body that gives your body the instructions that it needs to do things. And the DNA that you have comes from your parents. Half of it comes from your mom, half of it comes from your dad. And so what that means is that if you are able to figure out things about DNA and decode DNA, you can learn about people. which is really fascinating. You can also use it to identify a person because you are the only person that has DNA exactly like yours. It's one of a kind thing. So the way that scientists do that is they'll take a sample of DNA and break it into pieces and use a process called gel electrophoresis. And I'll tell you what, when I was planning on doing this batch, I actually have some stuff that I can do gel electrophoresis with at my lab, but not allowed to go get it now. So what I thought I would do is show you about a similar thing that you can do at home. So what gel electrophoresis does is it sorts out pieces of DNA based on its size and its charge. We can also sort out molecules at home that come from a different source. So what we're going to do today is do a little bit of an experiment back with Josie's markers. Are you ready, Josie? Josie's markers.
Sure.
All right, in order to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to have you set this up like we practiced earlier, like that. I've just got a piece of typing paper and I'm going to cut a sheet for her. It's a line like that. All right, and the first step, Josie, is to draw a line about 1 inch from the bottom. So I'm going to turn this so that we can see what you're doing.
Okay, about 1 inch you said?
Yep.
Got it. About 1 inch. Ta-da! Inch
Awesome.
line.
And then what you're going to do is make a dot from a bunch of different markers. So I'm going to line these up for you so they're kind of in color order. Red, orange, yellow. Which way did these go? Green, blue.
More blues and purples.
Okay, so in that order, we need to have little dots across the bottom.
So we're going to start off with red. Wait, no, one second.
Yeah, use the thicker one.
And the
Great job, Josie. Okay, we're still working on trying to be able to share that well with you guys. All right. So Josie's got her string of dots. Nice dots, Josie. All right. We tried this out a few times earlier to make sure that it would work. And so the idea with chromatography is that we can separate out, we can see if these pigments have things in common with each other. So Josie used, I don't know, these are just markers that I got on Amazon for Christmas that I thought were a little bit, I don't know. I like that they had like fine tips in them. That's why I got them for her, because she likes to draw and do art and make comic strips.
I just started doing those.
Yeah, but they're great. So Crayola markers work really well too, and sometimes pens work. So what we did, I'm going to kind of fast forward this so you guys can see what's going to happen. We put it inside a chamber with a solvent to see if we could separate some of the inks from each other. And this is what happened. What do you see there, Josie?
It looks like they are bridged up. It actually looks like on some of the greens, it looks like blue actually traveled up.
Do you see how similar these are though?
Yeah.
Wait, look at those have all that blue, and these kind of all have pink. And what's that?
That's yellow.
Coming out of what color?
Black.
Yeah.
And on brown, there's shades of pinks and purples and blues.
So what we discovered is that these pigments, when you color with a marker, you're not coloring with a straight red, or you're not coloring with a black. It's actually got some yellow ink in it and some yellow dye. And these three down here are like the 8 one is a dark blue, a purple, and a brown. And those all have a lot of pink. These are greens and blues, and they all have this like the cyan color in it. The yellow's pretty pure. The orange has got a lot of similar tones as the red one. So that's kind of interesting.
I think this actually kind of makes sense from something that my art teacher taught me when I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
She taught me about primary colors and that pretty much no other colors could make them. So I think it's kind of makes sense that this blue here is pure blue, this yellow here is pure yellow, and this red here is pure red, because they would have to mix other colors so we can see the colors that they mix to form those.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the reason I show you guys this is not because this is the same as DNA. The model of the chromatography works, where we can take parts of a chemical sample and separate it out a little bit. So here we've separated out the blues. You know, if we look closely, we might see a streak of the yellows down here and the greens. And we've been able to separate it out a little bit. It's not the same. It's not quite the same as DNA. I'll try to link a better video about how how gel electrophoresis works for you guys below. But this is just something that's kind of cool to do to investigate the way that your markers work and be able to separate them out. It's also helpful for figuring out, you know, like, hey, what color is this? I don't know. We can come up with stuff. Mostly we did it for fun.
Wait, another way that you could use this is like if you had like a set of markers or colored pencils. Wait, no, it wouldn't work for colored pencils.
No, because those are wax-based.
Yeah. So
you'd have to melt the wax dye into the paper.
Yeah, which I don't think you'd want. So what you can do with markers is like, these markers don't have sometimes some of the tools that I use have numbers on them, and then I really like a color, and then I don't remember the numbers, and then I forget it. So if you're using like a ink or water-based item, and you want to figure out what color it is, you could put the color that it was, like if it was already on a piece of paper, you could put that in a solvent, and then you could place other colors next to it that look similar and just find the ones that match.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, so if you want to set this up with your experiment, all that I've done here is kind of taped it into this jar. I don't know, this is like an oxy canister that I found in our cabinet. Put this, like, I'm putting it in our 20 things tray. And then you'll want to take your paper, if you're worried about it slumping, because our container is wide at the top. So I have a piece of tape, and I'm just going to take our paper and lower it into our solvent and tape it in place. The solvent that we're using here is isopropyl alcohol. So it's just, actually it's not that one. It's actually this one. It's actually 91% and not 70%. We tried it with water. For these markers, even though they're water-based, the water didn't work very well with our typing paper, and so you can just change your solvent. And that's something that's very common if you're a scientist who does chromatography. You have to get the right combination of your substrate and your solvent so that it works the best. This one's not great. Honestly, that this is all smearing across there is not a great solvent, but you know, we're in quarantine and I'm not in my lab, so we're using what is in the pantry. Okay. I apologize, we're not in quarantine.
We are being social distanced.
We are social distancing and we're under stay-at-home orders. Okay.
That means that we're being separated. We are not being isolated because we might have been exposed. So many people are calling this quarantine.
But this is safe and this is a good thing to do. All right. So, and we're really glad that we can share this with so many Girl Scouts, because our last Girl Scouting video got, I don't know, a lot of people watched it. That's cool. All right, so our very last step to earn our detective badge is to solve a mystery. And I have to admit, Josie came up with a solution to how we were going to solve a mystery. I couldn't figure out a good, fun way to do it. So she's going to introduce that to us. Are you ready?
I feel like this is something that like someone else my age would also do. Like, so many people that I know and like many people in my school and grade, they play a site called Cool Math Games. So in Cool Math Games, it has a variety of gaming styles and games within those styles that you can play. So the style of game that we're going to be doing is obviously mystery and sort of detectiveness, observationist style.
Yeah,
games.
I told Josie that what we need to do to complete the badge is be able to find clues and use the clues to solve a mystery. All right, so what did you come up with in cool math games for us?
So I came up with a game that me and a lot of my friends really enjoy. The creators of this game are Bart Bonte. They create many games like this. My favorite ones, though, are the Cat in Japan and Cat Christmas.
So sorry. So what's the best way to find Cat in Japan?
The best way I would say to do it is just look up coolmathgames.com. Then there's usually a search or a menu button. Just click that and it'll say types or A to Z or search and just find Cat in Japan or type Cat in Japan.
Do you need to have a account or sign up for anything to do it, or is it just you can just jump in and start playing?
Yeah, you can just jump in. Cool Math Games is completely free to the community.
That's great.
So here we go.
I'm gonna look over your shoulder, Josie. So show us how to play Cat in Japan.
So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna click play. So here it's sort of showing you the game intro. So it's this cat just walking around. You little cat. So this cat here wants sushi. So it wants us to find some sushi. Find 20 sushi. So here there are a few different rooms. Each of the rooms hide clues that will help you find more sushi and more clues and doors. So you're just gonna go around.
So those little
just
sushis
clicking
are
on
just
stuff.
those little like California rolls that are chilling there.
Yeah.
And you're looking stuff. So where can you find clues about them?
So you can find clues about them like across it. So like you can really just start clicking stuff if you're desperate sort of. But like if you see a sushi, you just click it and it'll appear up here in the sushi that you have.
Yes, but where are there clues about the sushi?
There are clues throughout the room. Those are things that you kind of just have to notice. Like for example, one thing here is these circles here. Do you guys see any circles like that with dots anywhere? Oh look, there's a head. Could that be it? These are heads of little dolls. So I think they want us to turn the heads and then maybe it'll open like the compartment thingy. So what they do in these games a lot is like you have to find stuff and then it'll uncover it.
Don't find all of them.
So here's just a few of them that you can find. Many things, like I said earlier, you just click and they'll move. Some things don't move, just like...
So what happens when you click on the dolls? Because you were talking about that.
Yeah, when you click on the dolls, it brings you up closer so that you can do stuff. So you would like click on it, then you click where you want it to go. So then what you would do here is once you have all of the dolls put together, then you would go over and find this. And then you would try to memorize or write down what this is. And then you would remember it. And then go back over to the room. And then you would put them like they are. So that's kind of how it was. There was nothing here, 1 dot here, 2 dots, nothing, 2 dots, 1 dot on the side.
Gotcha. And then that'll lead us to more sushis?
Mm-hmm.
We can solve the mystery.
Then once you find all the sushis, it'll say congratulations, and you get to see a little cute video playing of the cat eating all the sushi.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, so then that's the last step you would need to do to complete your detective badge, and you'd all be done. Yay!
This is a really fun game, though. So
Yeah, Josie's really excited about playing
the game.
It's in Japan. Okay, so those are your 5 steps for the detective badge. I'll put some links below to help you to find the instruction book, the official Girl Scout version, where to buy your badge. And we'll put the link to Cat in Japan down there. That'll make it easier for you to find it. And
Thank you for watching.
hey, if you want to see more videos of us doing Girl Scouty things, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. I'm here with giggles. Stay safe.
Be well.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.